Whenever a new ship comes out, especially a larger ship or a bigger ship or a more expensive ship, you always see these threads. And of course, we're seeing them right now in regards to the Mercury. I'm thinking of melting all my ships and just turning them into a Mercury, but there are also other threads out there. God of Freelancer Mist, thinking of upgrading to a Hammerhead, thinking about melting everything, buying a Mercury, talk me out of it, that sort of thing. And so I thought it would make an interesting topic for a video, which is going all in on one ship in the Star Citizen universe. So, do I think that it's a good idea? With the Hammerhead, I think it's a unique situation because the Hammerhead is a ship that is just about to be delivered, right? Fingers crossed, 3-3, CitizenCon, we get our hands on the Hammerhead, and the pilots who own it can then start to develop the ship or their knowledge of the ship as the game develops. And there's a very strong value to that. I made a video a while ago where I talked about the fact that imagine in whatever MMO, whatever you're playing right now, imagine you could take all the knowledge that you've developed in that game and take it back to yourself day one, and then play the game from the start with all that knowledge. I mean, imagine playing any game from launch knowing everything that you know about it now, any game that you've played over the years. And I think most people would agree that the difference would be pretty amazing. Knowing where everything's going to be, knowing how to do things, knowing the faster way, the more efficient way to do things, knowing where all the pitfalls and all the mistakes and all the misjudgments that they had made along the way, knowing how those things would turn out, I think would be very, very different, certainly. A lot of people would benefit very strongly from having that knowledge. And being at the point that we're in Star Citizen, of course, I think a longer video could be made in regards to the state of Star Citizen. Maybe a project for the future, the current state and the concerns around it. But where you're at right now is, in a way, kind of an enviable position, because let's say you pick up your Hammerhead, right? CitizenCon comes out, you get access, you have your Hammerhead, you're now flying it in the universe. Well, these systems are missing from the game, those systems are missing from the game, the flight engine is going to get its tuning pass, let's say that. You're in a good spot. It may not seem like a good spot, but you're in a good spot, because as these systems all come online, they will kind of come in organically, and you'll have time to develop your knowledge of the ship organically. You'll be able to kind of get used to the layout, get used to how things work within the ship, and then all of a sudden Item System 2.0 comes in full force, and now you're able to go and make mods to your ship. You're able to test out different shields, and there is no real concern at this point, because nothing really counts. You can just keep going at it again and again and again, trying out different shields, different guns, different configurations, spending all this money only to have it reverted back to you and to do it all over again and to try it in all these different ways. And then as each ship system comes into play, you get used to that very organically, just weaving that all in. It's a great way to learn how to do things. It's a great way to develop an almost expert level of knowledge regarding that ship, right? You're in a great position. It may not feel that way at times, I certainly agree, but you're in a great position right now. So in a situation like the Hammerhead, yeah, that's a good place to be. With the Mercury, though, there is a missing component, which is the ship's not here, right? The ship is not here, and so your ability to develop that knowledge, I mean, certainly you can develop it to a certain degree. Let's say they give you a Freelancer and a Herald as a loner. You can develop, knowledge of, data running, data trafficking, all that sort of sweet stuff once that system is implemented in the game. But the Herald's not really going to give you an idea of what it's like to fly a much bigger ship, and certainly the Freelancer's not going to give you an idea of what it's like to fly that much bigger ship as well. And you know, that's kind of a downside. Now add on to that the fact that, let's say your ship gets blown up, what are you going to do in the meantime, right? And that's always something, you know, that has always concerned me, is if you get all your ships blown up, well, what are you going to do? You know, that's why I own a few different ships, is because what happens when that ship blows up? What are you going to do then? Are you just going to sit in station and twiddle your thumbs? Or are you going to go work on someone else's ship? Possibly, but in the end, you kind of want to fly your own ship and you want to make progress, but now you're waiting for the you know, the respawn timer on your ship, and chances are those respawn timers are going to get much bigger in the future once everything counts. So just sitting there saying, well, I'll spend 900 credits and I'll get it back in 2 minutes, it's like, that might not be the reality, you know, come live, come to the point in beta where everything counts. That just might not be the reality. So don't kind of, you know, bank on that. I think that it's always a good idea to have a side ship. I realize that that might sound like a little bit of a metaphor, but it's always a good idea to have a little side ship. Something just for you, something fun, something interesting. Whether it's a Herald, whether it's a Super Hornet, or whether it's, you know, just a Prospect, or just something like a Vulture, something that you can go out and you can just jam with and just have fun by yourself and just mess around with while you're waiting for that bigger ship to come back to you. So I understand the desire to kind of gamble it all and just say, I want this. I get it. I totally get it. But in truth, I think ultimately it's always a good idea to have a side ship, and no, an Aurora or a Mustang Alpha does not count as a side ship. That's a glorified shuttlecraft. I mean, it's not even, yeah, it's almost like a space bike. Having a ship that can go out there and do things is important, even if it's an Avenger. Having something else just on the side, just in case, is always a good idea. In all honesty, you could end up in a point, and I could really see this happening. You could end up at a point where, you know, you log into the game and just flying a big ship is not what you want to do right now, right? You're just not in the mood for that. You want to be just chill. You just want to kind of go off, do your own thing, and, you know, just kind of get into the chill zone and not have to worry about managing all these things and working with all these systems and however you're going to do it, however, you know, your crew, whether it's NPCs or whether it's friends, not having to worry about all that shit, and just kind of maybe hop into like a Vulture or hop into an Avenger or something like that and just kind of go off and do your own thing for a while. We all get into that kind of headspace from time to time. We just need to go and decompress and chill. We still want to play the game, but we just don't want to play the game with such high stakes. You know what I mean? So having a ship like that, I think, is a good idea. If you're going to go and you're going to get the Mercury or, you know, the Hammerhead or whatever, don't gamble everything on it. Always make sure that there's a little side ship so you can go off and just do your own thing when you feel like just doing your own thing and not worrying too much about this, that, or the other expense or all these other responsibilities that come with owning a much bigger ship. It's always important to just have just a little fun ship for scooting around and just doing your own thing in. So that would be my opinion on that question. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.